Do you remember when Rachel Maddow tweeted that out? Patients are overdosing on ivermectin and backing up rural Oklahoma hospitals and ambulances. You remember that? That was all a lie. It was 100% lie. Funded by who? Big Pharma, who pays probably 80% of her check. So she's lying to American people. She's lying to her own audience at the behest of a pharmaceutical company and trying to make you think that a very inexpensive life-saving medicine is somehow poison.
Yeah, like rural Oklahomans don't know the difference between their horses
Yes.
People that know everything about that.
Yes.
They think they should take horse medicine.
So that was a lie. She never, by the way, she never retracted this. She never apologized for misleading or lying, because she doesn't have to, because she did it at the behest of Big Pharma. If you tell the truth, you get in trouble. So now here she is. So Donald Trump was giving a speech where he responded to the indictment, and she wasn't going to air it. And here she's going to tell you why she doesn't air it.
I need to say that former President Trump has just started making public remarks, just as he did on the...
Now, let's remember when he ran for president the first time, MSNBC used to spend hours showing his empty podium. So they've created this. And now look what they're doing.
Of his first arraignment on criminal charges. That was April, when he was booked on 34 felony counts brought by the state of New York. Now tonight, after his arraignment on federal felony charges, he's speaking again, this time to an audience of his supporters that's gathered for a campaign fundraiser tonight at his golf club and summer home in New Jersey. We knew heading into this that he was planning to make these remarks. We are prepared for his pre-fundraiser remarks tonight to again be essentially a Trump campaign speech. Because of that, we do not intend to carry these remarks live. As we have said before.
Because it's a campaign speech? You guys used to show his empty podium for hours.
Also, why would you not show a campaign speech?
Why would you not show a campaign speech? You show campaign speeches all the time. So what she's doing is lying. That's what Rachel Maddow does. She's now lying. That's what her face looks like when she's lying.
In these circumstances, there is a cost to us as a news organization to knowingly broadcast untrue things.
There is a cost to us as a news organization to knowingly broadcast false things. She did Russiagate for the last 8 years. 100% false, completely made up by the FBI and the Democratic Party and the corporate media.
Well, she chose not to know that.
She knows that, and she lied. And then she's never apologized. She lied about the Russians putting bounty on American soldiers in Afghanistan. That was a lie. It's always a lie. She knew it was a lie. She's lying about Ukraine right now. She lied about Syria. She smeared anybody who told the truth about it. She's the biggest lying sack of shit there is in the fucking world. It's Rachel Maddow, corporate host of the Big Pharma military industrial complex, Wall Street funded news show. And she's not going to show you Donald Trump's speech because he might lie. You ready?
Are here to bring you the news. It hurts our ability to do that if we live broadcast what we fully expect in advance to be a litany of lies and false accusations, no matter who says them. And I do not say this with...
Oh, really? Who else did you ever do this to then? Who else did you ever not air a speech because they...
Putin.
What politician's speech did you not air because they were going to lie? She's literally saying that.
Yeah.
We're not going to show you the former president of the United States speech because he might lie.
Well,
but somehow, Kurt, her brain can handle it. Well, wait, hang on. Let me play the rest of it.
Glee. I hope it is clear that this is not a glib decision. We take our responsibilities seriously. We revisit decisions like this all the time. We make the best call that we can in real time, every time. But tonight, our call is this. We will monitor that speech by the newly indicted former president. We will not carry his remarks live. If he says anything newsworthy, we promise we will turn that right around and bring it back to you.
So what Rachel Maddow's doing, and thank God Rachel Maddow and her crew at MSNBC are there, because they have special brains. Now, our brains, if we watch Donald Trump speech, he would lie, and then it would break our brains, and then we would vote wrong.
Yeah.
But she has special brain. She got it. I don't know. Maybe it's because she's a news anchor. Maybe it's because she's gay. I don't know what gives her special power, but her and her friends at MSNBC, they can view Donald Trump's lies. It doesn't affect them. They'll sift through it, find the truth, and then they'll report it back to you in a way that doesn't break your brain because they have special powers that we normal people don't have. And so we need them to pre-read the news for us. We need them to pre-watch politicians' speeches so we don't watch it raw and it messes up our brains. Because that's what she's saying, right?
Well, I think the important part is they're not just doing this glibly. Even though that was the most glib way to say that.
Yes.
She's a glibral. That's the new.
She's a glibral.
She's a glibral Democrat.
And if he says that, and if there's anything that needs to be reported back, we'll let you know. Can you?
Thanks.
Who are the morons who allows their news anchor to decide if what a politician's saying is interesting or not?
Should I take shelter when the bombing of lies comes in from Trump tonight? Where should I go to remain safe?
That is amazing.
Don't worry. We'll tell you if he said anything important.
There's a big consequence for a news organization if they broadcast lies. Really? I already showed you she loves being a liar.
Do you know what this is, though?
She loves being a liar, right?
Is it because Anderson Cooper had to apologize to his viewers
for bringing Trump on?
For showing Trump. Yeah. So this is them being like, see?
And so she has to come up with a lie, and the lie is that she's trying to save us from lies. She's actually lying about it.
And the viewer, this is like the people who, I don't know who watch MSNBC and sits there like.
I do. I know them by first fucking name, and so do you, Kurt.
But who watch, like, I don't mean watches it. I do. I mean, who's like, thanks, Rachel Maddow, for protecting me like a mask.
Well, here she says she can't do lies, but of course they do it all the time, constantly. She did it for Russiagate. Ever since Trump was elected, she hasn't stopped and she hasn't apologized for it. And remember when she did this during COVID?
Means that instead of the vaccine being able, instead of the virus being able to hop from person to person to person to person, spreading and spreading, sickening some of them, but not all of them. And the ones that it doesn't sicken don't know they have it. And then they give it to even more people because they didn't recognize they were, right? Instead of the virus being able to hop from person to person to person, potentially mutating and becoming more virulent and drug resistant along the way. Now we know that the vaccines work well enough that the virus stops with every vaccinated person.
That was a lie then?
A vaccinated person gets exposed to the virus. The virus does not infect them. The virus cannot then use that person to go anywhere else.
Hey, I got vaccinated and I got it and then passed it to my girlfriend, Rachel Maddow.
She's worried about someone lying on her news show. Rachel, that person who lies at the top of her lungs for Big Pharma every day of her life is afraid of someone lying. She's lying at the behest of the biggest criminals in the goddamn world, the military-industrial complex and Big Pharma. Rachel Maddow's the biggest liar in the goddamn world. The reason why she still has her job is because she won't tell the truth about Ukraine. She won't tell the truth about Big Pharma. She won't tell the truth about COVID. That's why she still has her job. Tucker Carlson got fired because he told the truth about Ukraine, told the truth about Zelensky, and told the truth about Big Pharma corrupting corporate news. She'll never tell you any of those things, which is why she got a new contract instead of getting fired like Tucker Carlson. You don't get fired for lying in corporate news. You get fired for telling the truth. And so that's the irony there. She's pretending that she's going to censor Donald Trump for her audience. Huh. She'll watch it and she'll let you know. I don't want your, and now of course, politicians are the biggest liars, but even funnier. This guy says making a bogus case of selective censoring is not journalism. It is to create a narrative and is propaganda. Audacity to make that case is simply an illustration of how deep is the deep state. You don't think Rachel Maddow's completely controlled by the CIA? She is. She is working direct. You think Project Mockingbird is over? She repeats CIA talking points better than they do.
I think in as much as Raytheon approves, I'm sure Raytheon has the final call, not even the CIA.
Or Boeing. So remember what Goebbels said, it is the absolute right of the state to supervise the formation of public opinion.
Wow.
And so,
he didn't sound glib either when he said that, like Rachel sounds while she says the same thing.
So Glenn Greenwald did a Substack a couple years ago about the irony that Rachel Maddow got sued. She got sued for defaming that news company. I'm not Newsmax. Maybe it was Newsmax. So guess what the judge said? The judge said that Rachel Maddow obviously isn't dealing in facts, and so you can't hold her accountable for what she's saying. Nobody expects her to tell facts. You think I'm kidding? Here's what the judge said. In an oddly overlooked ruling, an Obama-appointed federal judge, Cynthia Beshant, dismissed the lawsuit on the grounds that even Maddow's own audience understands that her show consists of exaggeration, hyperbole, and pure opinion, and therefore would not assume that such outlandish accusations are factually true. She said that there was a news agency that was getting paid by Putin.
Literally.
She said literally. She said the word literally.
Yeah. She's not millennial, right?
And
she
yes.
should know what that word means.
Even when she used, so this is what the judge said, even when she uses the language of certainty and truth when presenting them, literally is a paid Russian propaganda. So she said that about that news organization. In concluding that Maddow's statement would be understood even by her own viewers as non-factual, the judge emphasized that what Maddow does in general is not present news, but rather hyperbole and exploitation of actual news to serve her liberal activism. This is the direct quote from the judge. Thus, Maddow's show is different than a typical news segment where anchors inform viewers about the daily news. The point of Maddow's show is for her to provide the news, but also to offer her opinions as to that news. Therefore, the court finds that the medium of the alleged defamatory statement makes it more likely that a reasonable viewer would not conclude that the contested statement implies an assertion of objective fact. So they're saying she was making stuff up and everyone knew it. No one thought she was telling the truth when she said that that news organization was literally being paid for by Putin. No one believed. She's saying that. So Rachel Maddow all the time says stuff that everyone knows isn't true and factual. That's what she's saying. Oh, it was called One America News.
Oh, okay.
That was the news organization she said was being literally doing Putin being paid by.
Wait, but Jimmy, how can I trust her take on the Trump speech then?
Right? In sum, ruled the court, Rachel Maddow, could you take off Kurt for a second? Hello? No? In sum, ruled the court, Rachel Maddow is among those speakers whose statements cannot reasonably be interpreted as allegations of fact.
It's amazing to have a court say that about you.
That was her own defense. That was Rachel Maddow's, and the court agreed. So that's what a court said about. And then, of course, Tucker Carlson famously used the same line of defense when he was sued. So there you go. So that's why it's adorable. The people who watch Rachel Maddow, there's no bigger morons in the world. There's no bigger dupes. There's no bigger propagandized segment of the country. They are it. And that doesn't mean they don't have high IQs. Rachel Maddow has a high IQ. But the people who watch that are morons. There's a difference between book smart and street smarts. And if people who watch that, you could sell them a bridge in Florida any day of the week.
Yeah, but it turns out a bunch of these people don't actually read books.
Turns out they don't. Okay. So Rachel Maddow, not going to air it. So now just another complete bullshit. I need someone to pre-chew my food and pre-read my news. I'm a little baby.
Just chew up the content and spit it into my mouth.
Hey, come see us live on tour. We'll be in Bakersfield, Baltimore, San Francisco, Huntington Beach, Rosemont, and Chicago, Las Vegas, Salt Lake City, New York City, Pottstown, Pennsylvania, Stamford, Connecticut, and more.
Hey,
Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets.